And now, making their way into the arena, hailing from the great pro wrestling state of Massachusetts, they are the hosts of the Top of the Cage podcast. Here are Bill and Juice.
And thank you again, Rich Palladino, the voice of New England, always making us sound so good. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, it is I am the super producer. I am Bill, joined always by my tag team partner, my wrestling confidant. He is the future booking genius and the prince of pro wrestling podcasts. He is Justin Juice Cannon.
Boom.
Boom, baby. Juice, this week we welcome on to the podcast a man that brings the boom because he is Max Smashmaster, a man who is a trainer and co-owner over at the New England Pro Wrestling Academy, a man who owns his own wrestling business with Rad Pro Rasslin, and a man that recently threw you around a wrestling ring.
Yeah, or to be more specific, he threw me out of one. The drill was to do it on your own, but I was having trouble to just flip yourself over back and support all that weight. I mean, the rope could support the right weight. It was more so me just being over to kind of flip over and do a handstand. He did give me a little assistance because the first time I just didn't do it, and he just gave me that look of just disappointment. So I went back in the line and I tried it again, and he helped me this time, and I did it. And then I did it a third time too. But the guy doing the ring out does 99% of the work. Yeah, he threw me out of a ring. That look of disappointment turned to a look of happiness that I stuck with it, and I didn't just quit. So boom, great trainer, great dude, Smashmaster, you're the best.
Smashmaster is the best, and we do not want to hold you back from this interview any longer. So, ladies and gentlemen, here is Max Smashmaster.
What's up, everybody? I am Juiced, joined by my co-host Bill. This is Top of the Cage podcast. This is another interview, and this week we have someone that we've both been waiting to talk to since the very beginning. Chaotic Wrestling and New England Pro Wrestling Academy. A lot of our interviews come from people that come from there. So this week we have pro wrestler trainer, pro wrestling owner. You don't own pro wrestling. You own.
I am the owner of all pro wrestling. You're right.
Is Max Smashmaster himself. How you doing tonight, man?
Tired, old. What else? What other superlatives can I give myself? Yeah, I'm feel good. Very excited. How are you guys doing?
Good, but tired.
Yeah, how you feeling?
Tired.
How's the back feeling?
The back actually doesn't feel as bad after you cracked my back a little bit.
Yeah,
gave me
I
a little
did.
chiropractic.
Threw your ass over the top rope too.
Yeah, you had to throw me over.
You
Literally,
you couldn't. Oh, I can't do it. I said, nope, fuck you. You're going.
Hey, I went back in line. I didn't
I know. I was proud of you. I was very proud of you. You didn't
for
give up.
Background for people listening.
You're a regular John Cena. Never give up.
Never give up. Maybe if I actually stick with it, get in better shape, get back in the ring, I'll just steal his gimmick.
Yeah, easy, right? Can't be that hard.
No,
Yeah.
It's not at all.
Just get in shredded shape and be on top of the business for 18 years, easy.
Yeah, I can do it in my sleep.
That's the only place you're going to be doing it, because it's going to be in your dreams. Sorry. I'm an asshole too. Sorry.
No, I mean, someone had to say it. Someone
Have we
has
even
to
said
put
my
me
name?
back in a place.
I'm Max Smashmaster.
I did say it.
Okay,
I did say your name. Background for people that are a little confused. New England Pro Wrestling Academy, which Scott co-owns, they do a great thing, a fantasy camp, give people a chance to live out their dreams, or see if, for guys like me that just want to go in the ring at least once to see what's like, they can do that. Or maybe you just want to see what's like because you actually want to train because you're in better shape than me, and you know you can do it, and you know you can take these repeated bumps, and you can not be sore for days after.
Hey,
Either
listen,
way,
my first, I was 16 when I did my first fantasy camp, and ours was 3 days long. So it was a Friday for 4 hours, a Saturday for 8 hours, and then a Sunday for 4 hours. And on Sunday morning, I couldn't even take a shit. Everything hurt. So I swear to God on my life, it's not just like a joke. Like being a 16-year-old and being like, I can't physically push, like I was dying. And then still to go in for it. It was brutal. It was brutal. But your body becomes acclimated to it. And 19 years later, I still feel miserable, but I keep going back.
yeah, I can't imagine a 3D camp. Where was it? Because I know it probably wasn't.
No, it wasn't at so I didn't train at Chaotic Training Center. I trained at Top Rope Pro Wrestling Academy, which was in Manchester. Head trainer Steve Bradley, who sadly passed away in 2008. And I started in 2004 up there.
So it's interesting. I thought you would have been one of Kowalski's students.
No, not that old, but I mean, there was like a handful of times that I'd see Kowalski, but I was never a full-time like CTC student. So I never got to be his student. But yeah, I was definitely a Steve Bradley student, old WFA wrestler from the early 2000s.
And of course, you are somebody that's approaching, and I mean, at this point, like you said, well over that 20-year career. And of course, you've gone through various gimmicks. You've never been just Max Smashmaster. I know we've seen you as Sebastian Reese, the Shane. So what has experience working under those different gimmicks kind of taught you and bring into the training world for these new professional wrestlers?
It's a good question, because I don't think there's a character I've done that has been me turned up to 11. You know what I mean? And that's such like a cliche, like, yeah, it works for some people, but it doesn't work for everyone. And obviously there are some people like Stone Cold who says that a lot. It's like, yeah, but Stone Cold, you're charismatic. Like The Rock is like the fucking Rock, like them turned up to 11 is just the best. When some people are just boring, and then when you turn boring up to 11, it's just like accentuated boring. Yeah, right. So it's good to sometimes have a character given to you, or a character that is something out of your norm to bring you out of your shell. So I like that. The Shane was a metrosexual gimmick when that kind of term was hot in 2004, 2005. And then Sebastian Reese was really just nothing. It was just a name. Like I didn't know what I was just wrestling, right? I was just a big guy. And then I went to CHIKARA, and I got handed the gimmick of Max Smashmaster, which is a terrible name. It's a horrible name, but it was meant to be horrible, right? So elevator pitch, like Max Smashmaster was accidentally transported from a different time to the modern day, and he was just a ripoff, LOD wrestler from the territories, right? Like bad name, like goofy gimmick. But the way to make that work is just to play it so straight, right? If you tell people it's goofy, then it's goofy, right? But if you make the promise to them that you're always going to play it straight in this character, like then it will work. So yeah, all those gimmicks kind of add up to my thought process in wrestling is either you're charismatic or you find a way to be charismatic.
And you touched a little bit on your work in CHIKARA, and that is something that I definitely wanted to talk about because, looking back at your match history, you've had matches with some people that we're seeing now on television, guys like Orange Cassidy, Ray Fenix, Tracy Williams, even Kimberly Lee too. So I kind of wanted to touch a little bit on your experience working with CHIKARA, and especially during a time where, they were pretty hot during the time that you were working with them.
Yeah, yeah. I definitely am at the point in my life where like, oh man, fuck, I used to be over. Like, it's like we were hot, we were running. I would absolutely say we were number 4 in the country. Like it was WWE, Impact, ROH, then Chikara, and it was the fucking best. We had a great roster of dudes who worked hard and obviously made it, from anyone from, like you said, those names I won't drop anymore, but just being able to be around them, work with them, hang with them, have fun, and then see them all succeed. It's the fucking best. And we were drawing houses everywhere we went. I think like the minimum in the first few years I was there was like 400, 500 people. And the highest was 1,500, 2,000, like at WrestleCon. Like we're like doing really good numbers for a mom and pop shop. It felt like there's just a few of us putting it together and drawing.
I don't really want to pull the curtain too far back here, but
I don't give a shit. Tell me everything. I'll
my
tell
question
everything.
was just about, obviously you now doing some owning of promotions, working with,
Yep.
owning wrestling schools. Were you involved with any of development with guys there, or, even the booking or any of the back end stuff with Chikara?
No, so Chikara was owned by Mike Quackenbush, and he was the creative force behind it. His ideas were his ideas, and now even I've been a promoter for 6 weeks at this point. I can totally understand why you want to just do everything yourself. Like I have a business partner, Brian Malonis, he's great, but the creative, like I run it through a few people if I have an idea that I'm like, not sure about. And I haven't had an idea be a success yet, too. So we'll see if any of this fucking works, because I'm doing the weirdest, wackiest thing that I possibly could imagine. Right. But in Chikara, I didn't. No, obviously there was times when you'd pitch something and never hear anything about it, which is totally fine. If it's not in the cards, it's not in the cards. And I think that's a problem young wrestlers have, which is just like our mindset. Being a creative person is like, oh, this looks and feels so cool in my head. But if it doesn't play to the bigger picture, then it doesn't make the cut. But then again, there were times when the sheet would have a little bit less, and it's like, come up with a creative finish. These are the story beats, go. And at that point, if you can shine, like you can go and you can build something out that works and gets a reaction. So, those were the little bits of, I'd say, booking, but everything was booked for us. We're just delivering the story however we wanted to. And to have that trust definitely felt good.
When you're talking, brought up your promotion, now you're just getting the promoting game.
Yeah.
Rad Pro, can you tell us a little about Rad Pro and what makes it very different than any other promotion? Because I mean, you just look at the card and every wrestler's, it's a gimmick inside a gimmick, and it's really, and I'm really excited to see where it goes.
Did you guys get tickets?
No, because they're selling like hotcakes. They're already
They're
sold out. At this point.
That's why they're sold out, baby. So only way you're gonna be able to see it is after the fact. But yeah, so Rad Pro, my mindset is I wanted to give something else to our students. Our students have chaotic. So I'm not gonna go out there and put on like chaotic 2 or chaotic light or like diet chaotic. Like, no, why the fuck would I do that? That cannibalizes, if anything works, right? Like it takes tickets away from chaotic. He's my business partner. I'm not going to do that. And then I'm also not going to do what other people are doing, because I'm never going to have the time to do what they do at Beyond better than what they do at Beyond and Wrestling Open. Like I don't have that time. I'm not going to do what Randy does up in Limitless. That's just not my vision. He does fucking awesome. Why am I going to do piss poor Limitless? Like I don't want to put out something that's lesser than someone else who's already doing something fucking awesome, right? So what do I know how to do? I know how to create characters. I know how to build stories. I love 90s, like Saturday morning cartoon wrestling. Like I love Chikara. Chikara to some people is a dirty word. It's not to me. Like we did fucking awesome stuff. with awesome people and awesome talent and awesome characters with fucking awesome stories that people gave a shit about. Like, okay, let me just try to steal a little bit of that, add my own spice to it, and like put something out that nobody's doing. And the only place to see our characters is in Rad Pro. So we do get in this like pigeonhole of, okay, you guys will see Becca at Chaotic, but you can see her at Limitless and you can see her at Wrestling Open. And there might be like a little difference to the character, but it's still Becca, right? Okay, let's make her something completely different. Do I think Becca's awesome? Yes, I trained her. Like, of course I do. But I want to see her in a different light. I want to see her do something different. I don't think Becca's going to be with us for much longer on the indies. So like, hey, maybe if she goes up wherever and they ask her to do something new, like at least she has one rep of going out there and just doing something that's completely outside of her comfort zone. Cool. That's one thing for her. Shannon, love Shannon. She's the star of NEPWA right now. Like, she kicks ass. She shows up all the time. She works her ass off, but she's just Shannon, right? And I don't mean that as like a negative, but she's uses her regular name. She pretty much acts like herself. Great. It works for Chaotic. Absolutely. But what if I give her an extremely difficult character to portray? You know, it's not going to get harder than this character. And if she can pull it off, then great. She's better for it. And I have a story in mind. And if the story comes out, it'll be fucking awesome. It'll be something different. It'll just be, a whole nother rep that they can get. We're not the best school one of the best schools in America, and definitely the best school in New England, because we, crowd our students or pigeonhole them. We're hopefully, if Rad Pro's a success, because I'm not going to come out here and say it already is, because we sold out the show, but we haven't put on the show. So if for some reason Rad Pro succeeds, fucking awesome. Now we have a school that produces two very different types of wrestling with students that can go to one and go to the other and get two different educations from these shows. And just another step above, because a lot of places just do one type of show. That's fine. That's what most wrestling schools do. But if we do two, and I do mine, 6 times a year, Chaotic runs as often as they do, that's just so much more work for the students and more reps to get better. So that's my thought process behind Rad Pro.
And I think that's a great thought process behind it, because the variety is the spice of life. And one thing we talk about a lot on this podcast is just how many different types of wrestling there are out there, and how there's literally something for every wrestling fan.
Yeah.
And I know for both Juice and I, we love character work in wrestling. Like for me, I grew up watching like the late 2000s into the 2010s Undertaker. So like I loved that version of the Dead Man. Like that is a character I like go right to. I love the spooky, wacky, out there characters now purely because of that. And that's one thing that I'm excited to see about Rad Pro. It just seems like everybody's going to go out there and just to have a fucking fun. And I hope that's like part of your vision, is just to go out there and have fun too.
Yeah, and I don't want it to come across as like this is like a big comedy show, because I don't, like I said before, is like if you take these wacky fucking gimmicks and you just play them straight, then you are just them, right? Like no one will laugh at them unless you laugh at them. So play these characters straight and have as much fun as possible, and in the end, the product will speak for itself. Hopefully. I'm excited about it. I know a lot of the guys who are coming in, guys and girls, are excited about it, and to do something different and new, and like literally step out of their comfort zone. And if the first one's a success, which by all means it looks like it will be, we do have a second date already set. I'm not going to announce it just yet, but there's a second date, and it'll be in a slightly bigger venue. It'll be outdoors where we are now. So maybe we can grow, sell some more tickets. And when we do, then the next one, and so on and so forth. But we got to get there first.
That's true. And I hope that at that point we can also get tickets, because we were just too slow.
Too slow. You slept on us. I see how it is.
We did. And of course, the card is great too. And I just wanted to ask if there is one match from the card that you're specifically looking forward to.
So, I mean, I put together 6 matches. There is a bonus match as well, but I didn't want to promote the bonus match because I didn't want to. There's a reason why. But just know it's a Killer Quality School of Professional Wrestling bonus match. I haven't announced that yet, but you guys will get it. So there, yeah, it's presented by Killer Quality School of Professional Wrestling, which I just so happen to own that name. Which is also something I thought of 2 weeks ago. I was like, oh, Jason and I own that fucking name. Like we own that name. That doesn't make any sense to me, but we do. So yeah, we'll put on a little bonus match there. But man, all 6 of them are something that I have thought about, talked about. Obviously, I'm excited to team with my old tag team partner who I haven't wrestled with since December of 2005. My brother at arms, like literally the only man I've ever loved. You know, Blaster McMassive, just known as Blaster now, with no vowels, but he has a Z in his name because we're from the 90s. If I had to give you one, I guess you want an answer. I'll go the main event. Because why wouldn't it be? It's Stefan King, the Sultan of Sass, Stefan King. Man, what a baby face. People love Stefan King. He's like almost like Hulk Hogan, if you will. Right? He's almost like Hulk Hogan. Versus Dungalem, the patriarch of the pear tree, Dungalem. He's a sculptor. And for people who have no idea what I'm talking about, it's Armani Chaos versus Aaron Rourke, which kind of brings us to another thing is like, these wrestlers are good wrestlers. So it's not like you're hearing these names, never seen these people. Like, who these people are, they can go. So now you're just seeing them in a different light, but you're not walking into something blind and ending up with, some dog shit show. Hopefully.
And I have to ask too, these are such outrageous gimmicks. And I know we've talked to some NEPWA students before. Are these like straight from the box of gimmicks, or are they of your own creation?
Tell me what they've said about the box of gimmicks. Forgive me, I have not listened to your podcast.
No, but that is okay. We've heard that it's interesting. We've heard somebody say something about I forget if there was like a fire gimmick. I don't remember exactly what it was, but
box of gimmicks is literally like, I'll go take a poop at work and like just write down 20 gimmicks. And honestly, it's usually an animal and an occupation. I just put them together, like dog astronaut, right? Have fun fucking doing that, right? Like, basically what it is. But these have a little bit more thought because I do have to put them in a real wrestling context. Like, how does this sculptor work? What does he do? What's his end game? What's, the name, the voice, like all those things are stuff that comes from my mind and then puts it out there. But some of them I've been thinking about for years. There's one story, if I pull it off, I thought about it in like 2002. So if it works, I will have fulfilled my childhood dream. The boyhood dream will come true. I can't tell you what the story is though.
We'll just wait and find out.
It happens in 3 years from now, just so you know. So
3 years from
it's
now,
a fucking long build.
We'll be waiting in 3 years.
Yeah, you'll know.
I mean, we talked about the creation of the gimmicks, but how about one of my favorite things about 80s and 90s wrestling, which I wish like we get now, or even when I was a kid watching wrestling in 2000s, names. These are some wild names. What's the thought process of creating these names and what goes into that?
Some wrestlers, we went back and forth. Some just directly got it from me. A lot of students just got it from me, which I personally think is a good thing because it forces them to think rather than like, oh, I'll just be this. I'll just be my name, or I'll be like a normal name with like a weird last name, like Brian Fury or something, So like, it's like, what is that? And that's something I ask the students all the time. It's like, well, what the fuck does it mean? What's so furious about Brian? Obviously, Brian Fury is not one of my students, but you know what I'm saying? Like, you got to have something to it. A character is a character because it has traits. Not a character is a character because you made up a fucking weird name. So all these characters have traits, and some people who I trust a little bit more, not saying I don't trust my students, but they're young and they're green, so why not help them? It aids the show. But someone like a Sidney Bacabella, who maybe he's the other man I've ever loved. So there's two, maybe three. I don't need to go to him and lay out a character for him. I know I can say, okay, what do you think the name's going to be? This, and that. We went back and forth. There were some that we liked. There were some that we didn't like. It was going to be Lonzo Montgomery for a minute. I don't know what that was. It was just a funny name. I ended up using a Montgomery for a different character, Leaf Montgomery. And then he was going to be Royal Albert Hall, a British character, but I wasn't really feeling that. It doesn't fit into what I was doing. Like, okay, so what about like a computer geek? Okay, yeah, that could work. That's very different. And he's excited to do something different. He's been doing Sydney for 11 years now, 12 years. So, it's been a long time. So it's like, okay, what's the name going to be? Walter? No. How about Wally? Okay. And I was like, how about Wally Dingus? Which is like just a penis joke. But he's like, it sounds too much like that. So I was like, or he came up with, he said Wally Dangus. And he's like, final answer. I was like, okay. So the second I put out Wally Dangus, like just as a name on a fucking card, people have gone crazy about it. They don't know what to think. Like, what is Wally Dangus? And it's the stupidest fucking name. And when you guys do come to the show, I need you to promise me that you're not going to mention to Wally the time he got electrocuted. Okay? Please don't mention it to Wally. He's very sensitive about it. But yeah, Wally was electrocuted. It's very sad. He's a computer geek, and he developed a bit of software. He developed the Wally Intellect Network. And basically, he helps program the mind of Angelo Intellect. And Angelo Intellect's not a fucking android, but he works with him to think of different ways, and they put these through his it's what is it? Windows 2, Windows 3.0. It's early, so he puts it through. It's still an MS DOS. He puts all the stuff in it, and it kind of comes out with a game plan for him and Angelo Intellect, who's played by Channing Thomas. So yeah, they're going to do that. There may be some hijinks and shenanigans with them, but Wally's a very weird looking character, very, very odd looking person. And I could go on and on. See, like, those are the things we go deep. We think of a mental backstory. We think of the voice for the character, the look for the character, and off to the races. Let's see if this works. Let's see if we can get this over, and we'll see if it does.
You must have had so much fun with this.
I have never been more tired in my life, like mentally tired. So if there was a long stint in my life where I taught at a college level and I would come home very mentally exhausted, it does not compare to promoting and building characters for fucking 8 weeks straight. So, trust me, it's very mentally taxing, but I'm loving it. I think it's the most fun thing ever. And there's characters coming on show 2. I think 5 characters coming on show 2 that are already planned out. And now I have two tag teams that are coming. I have 2 more female wrestlers, and yeah, so 2 tag teams, 2 female wrestlers, and 1 more singles male wrestler. But that's not the end of it. There's more. Just constantly going. I want to build up a cachet, so like if I need someone here or there, then I can just bring them in.
And like you said, there's going to be a storyline that's going to pay off in 3 years. So who knows what's going to happen?
Multiple, like, yeah. If it works out, God willing, I have a few fucking bangers, I think, in my head at least.
Well, on the topic of bangers, Scott, as we approach the end of the interview here, we ask one final question to our guests, and it's the most cliche question in the world, honestly.
What's my favorite match?
No,
Oh,
less cliche than that, I guess.
okay.
But
Close, but no.
it's close, yeah. It's your dream match, and it can be any era of wrestler, the venue, your choice, the stipulation of the match, your choice. It can be a tag team, ladder match, triple threat, whatever you want. It's your dream. We don't tell you how to live it.
Oh, it's a good question. You know, it's difficult because there's so many that I think I would love to have, but so many that are so out of reach. But if I'm gonna go, I think tag team wrestling is my favorite. So I would bring my tag team partner into it. I would go the Devastation Corporation versus probably the 1991 Rockers, just like coked out of their fucking gourds, like, you know, just out of control, high as fuck Rockers. That's what I'm thinking, because they were the shit. They were fucking awesome. Have you ever seen Royal Rumble with the Rockers versus the Orient Express? I think it was 91 or 92. Holy shit, what a match, right? Like, that's what I'm thinking. That's good stuff. So I still get Shawn Michaels, which is like the dream. Pretty much should be for everyone. I don't think like I probably, let me rephrase that. I don't think Bret Hart could have a good match with me because I would fuck it up. Not him in any way, but like if that was a singles, it would probably be Bret Hart. But if it was a tag team, it would be that. Is that a good answer? You guys know what I'm talking about. It's not like it's a fucking
We
like
do.
like we not like I shouldn't be talking about this. Everyone knows that.
No, that's our first Rockers. That's our first Rockers. I mean, it's
Yeah.
not our first Sean, but it is our first Rockers.
Yeah. Yeah, the Rockers. That is, I mean, what else am I gonna say?
Yeah, it's definitely the first time Genetti's represented, which I think this is the only context that he would be.
Man, he was such a bit of spice with, he's probably smoking spice, but it was, you know, just a little bit extra spice on Michaels. It was the fucking, oh man, so good. Those dudes were so good. Their AWA stuff was fantastic. With Doug Summers and Buddy Rose, like, oh, just beautiful shit. And we're big bastards, and they could, you know, bounce off us and fuck us up. And I don't know, it'd just be great. I think it'd be awesome.
Easy day in the office working with you guys, that's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I don't bump, so fuck that.
I don't think many of those guys back in the 90s bumped either. Those big
That
guys.
ring was hard as fuck. Why would they? I don't blame them.
Well, Scott, with the last few minutes of our show here, we always like to let our guests plug and promote whatever they have going on, be it appearances coming up, merchandise, social media, different things like that. So after you finish your big yawn, the floor is yours.
Huge yawn. I'm exhausted, like I said. Yeah, I mean, I have so many Twitters and Instagrams and Facebooks, so I'll rattle them off really quick. If you are looking to train and be a professional wrestler and you're in the New England area, any one of the 6 states in New England, and you want to train to be a professional wrestler, there is only one place. It's the New England Pro Wrestling Academy. You can find us on the internet at NE, those are the letters, NE, prowrestling.com. You can sign up for a free meeting. You can tour the school. You can even watch a class for free. If you want to find us on social media, it's at NE Pro Wrestling on Twitter, New England Pro Wrestling Academy on Facebook. And I'm doing my best because I had to make a new Instagram. So I think it's just NE Pro Wrestling on Instagram. No, NE Pro Wrestling Academy, because you can add extra letters on Instagram. So NE Pro Wrestling Academy on Instagram. Don't follow me as my real name. I will just block you. I have a family. And if you try to follow me, you're a fucking weirdo. Rad Pro Rasslin. You can find Rad Pro Rasslin on Facebook, Rad Pro Rasslin. You can find Rad Pro Rasslin on the internet, radprowrestling.com. You can find us on Instagram as well, Rad Pro Rasslin. But on Twitter, I fucked up the first one and it got banned immediately because my old Twitter got banned. So Rad Pro Rasslin does not exist on Twitter. It's Rad Pro Rassle, RASSLE. RASSLE. So that's what it is on Twitter. Really sad, bummed me out that I couldn't just get a nice streamlined one, but maybe one day when I have 13 minutes to figure it out. So yeah, and then Max Smashmaster, no Twitter, got banned. I said I was going to bomb someone. I meant power bomb. What a fucking disaster. How many times do I have to explain to these people at Twitter, like, I meant power bomb it? Oh, you're a terrorist. It's like, I'm not. I said fucking power bomb. It's fucking fake wrestling move. So yeah, Max Smashmaster on Instagram. There is no Max Smashmaster Facebook because I converted it over to Rad Pro Rasslin. And unfortunately, you cannot watch Rad Pro Rasslin live on March 18th. But you can follow along on all social media, and maybe, just maybe, a week to 2 weeks after, you'll be able to see it on a very well-known streaming independent wrestling network, TV, IW. We do have a second date that is booked. I am in the process of getting everyone ready. I'm in the process of getting a poster, etc. But no news on that now. Stay tuned to radprowrestling.com. I filled like 5 minutes with that.
That was beautiful. That was the longest one we've ever had. You have a lot of shit to put over, but yeah, hey, that's what we're here for, to help you get your shit over.
I got 2 businesses. I got a full-time job. I got 2 kids and a wife. You ain't got to be more busy than me.
Well, Scott, we appreciate you taking time out of your schedule and joining us tonight.
Yes, thank you. I appreciate it. This was fun and fast.
And that was our interview with Max Smashmaster. That's one of my favorites, if not my favorite. I mean, Bill already said it in the interview that characters are one of our favorite things, if not our favorite part of wrestling. And obviously it means a lot to him. And hearing him talk about all the characters is awesome. So many interesting characters to look forward to with Rad Pro. We're not going to say anything else about that, but it's going to be fun. I can't wait to really see this thing get off the ground and see what Scott does. He's obviously very passionate about it, putting a lot of time and work into creating these characters and storylines. I'm so excited. I think this is going to turn out to be my favorite indie promotion because there's nothing like this. And that's not me just hyping it up. Like, I'm serious. Like, name a promotion with these types of names, these types of storylines that are so character centric. Indie wrestling is more about developing the in-ring talent. I think this is going to be a good complement to Chaotic because the NEPWA students are heavily involved in both.
And I think Scott, Max, whatever you want to call him, really is going to bring such great fire and desire into this. And you could just hear him talking about how excited he was, and even talking off air, like you said, we were sworn to secrecy on some things, but he's just almost like giddy about it. You know, he seems like he's just having a great time doing it. And they always say, if you love what you do, you don't work a day in your life. And he is one of the hardest working guys we know, one of the greatest minds for the business that we've talked to on this show. And it was an absolute pleasure to have him on. And I truly can't wait for our next conversation. But if you are a listener of this show, you can stay in the conversation with us on social media. Of course, you can check out all the social media and links that Max listed because there was like 17 of them. But for us, Juice, where can the people find us?
You go on Twitter, type you get your caps lock on first, and then you type TOTC _, and then you capital P, lowercase o, lowercase d. And then you go to the Instagram, you type TOTC _POD, all that's lowercase.
Yes, and as we come crashing down to the mat on this episode of Top of the Cage, I want to thank you all so much for tuning in. And if you are listening to us on Apple or Spotify and you do not leave us a 5-star review, that means that you, specifically you, that person not leaving us that 5-star review, will not get 5-star content, and that is just a fact. And again, thank you all so much for tuning in, and we will catch you next time.